Over the next few weeks, we're hoping to get to know the mayoral candidates in Saskatoon. And this morning, we have a few minutes with Cary Tarasoff. Good morning, Cary.
Good morning.
A lot of ground to cover, a lot of important issues in our city these days. I'd like to ask you about crime, housing, taxes, and a potential downtown arena. But I'd like to start with why you decided to run. Why do you want to be the next mayor of Saskatoon?
Well, I look at it as it's time for a change in the way things are being done. And you can't take people that have been all along part of doing what I think is wrong to think that they're going to change it. So we need a fresh new look at things, and I'm a pretty driven person. I'm technical, and I think that's the biggest lacking point. And the mayor is the top of the food chain, you might say, and the sentiment that they set for council is important. And if the mayor isn't being totally engaged in a very technical way, I think too many things are getting through. And I think councillors who have less time than the mayor to dig into these things are following that. So I'd like to set an example and lead from the top.
All right, let's dig into some of the issues. One of the big ones right now is violent crime in Saskatoon. Many people say they do not feel safe in their city. How would you characterize the challenges in Saskatoon with respect to crime right now, and what approach would you take in handling it?
Well, there'd been a shift in the policing away from the Peel's principles, which is the standard principles police are supposed to follow. And I'd like to see those Peel's principles reintroduced and followed legitimately. I'd also like to see that we get a warrant squad as quick as possible so that the 10 most violent criminals on our street are being sought every day by at least 2 people. And that funding has not been produced in the last budget, but yet it's been called for in the Sanderson report for the RCMP and the city to have this warrant squads. And I think getting the most violent people off our street would be a big start, because they prey on innocent people, but also other people that are addicted. They're preying all the way down the food chain, right? So.
Moving along here, I'd like to stick to some of those issues, but I'm forced by time to move along here. City Council turning to the federal government's Housing Accelerator Fund. This is $40 million available to the city to build affordable housing units, but there's conditions on it, and the contingency is that local bylaws need to be changed in order to get that funding with those federal guidelines. Is this the answer to affordable housing in our city?
This is look over here and not over there type event, in my view. We're taking away landowner rights on one side, possibly imposing many hundreds of millions, maybe over $1 billion of infrastructure upgrades over time, which will now be borne by the taxpayers, so that they get $40 million for what is really required for housing. I would rather give the money to the people that need it for housing, even if we had to take on that debt, and not dramatically change the rights of all the people that are in single-family residential in Saskatoon. This is, I'm sorry to say it, I consider it like a bribe. It's basically, you do this over here and we'll give you this over there. They should not be linked. And it's our money that they're giving us. They're not giving us something that we didn't already give to them.
In terms of the discussion around the downtown event and entertainment district, this has been a big one for a long time now. I think people are generally excited. You sense at least, there is some excitement about refurbishing the downtown area and seeing a project like this go through. I think probably the main concern people have is how much is it going to cost? Would you support the municipal taxpayer funding this project in any way?
No, but we've already funded it to a degree, because all the land purchase right now was purchased on the taxpayers' back. So they'll say, well, we could sell it someday. Yeah, but they took profits out of something that would have lowered our taxes or kept our taxes at an even keel. Instead, they were rolling it into purchasing land. So we are already invested in this financially. I don't think that this program has been properly produced in the last 5 years. I think it's glossy, but it's missing key pieces of information to be totally solvent. I believe that it's not totally integrated with the BRT, and I believe it's going to cause the whole traffic system of downtown to crash, and I'm willing to prove that. And I can't get good debate because they want to say, well, we'll fix that later. I don't want it to be later. These things should be sorted out before we go ahead, and they should have been by now.
Got to leave it there for now, but there'll be opportunities in the future before election to sit down again, hopefully. Cary Tarasoff, thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much.